The soil characteristics that we have across the state of Minnesota are a function of what we refer to as soil forming factors. You know, it's time, it's parent material, it's the vegetation, precipitation that influence the development of these soils. And so Minnesota has really three biomes. The conifers of the northeast, the hardwoods of the southeast, the mixed forests of the central part of the state, and then the grasslands that make up the southern and western part of the state. And so that vegetation has a marked influence on some of the soil properties. Across the state of Minnesota, we have a very pronounced precipitation gradient running from about 20 inches in the northwest to just a little over 30 inches in the southeast. Our precipitation is seasonal, but what's beneficial for us is that it's predominantly during the growing season. And so the characteristics of native vegetation, seasonal precipitation, and then the length of the growing season all influence the crop regions of the state, as well as the soils influencing the crops. So our corn soybean area, we can sort of draw a line that is diagonal from the southeast to the northwest. South of that line will be our corn soybean region. The small grains dominated by the Red River Valley. The forage areas dominated by those areas that have more shallow soils, hilly, rocky. So the central part of the state, dairy being the predominant industry in Stearns County, and then as we move down through the southeastern part of the state, it's forages. And then this area over in the southwestern corner of the state is also an area of pastures and forages and livestock operations. So the soils, these deep soils of the mollusks of the tallgrass prairie area, very fertile, very productive. The very deep soils that were deposited as a part of Old Lake Agassiz give rise to wonderful growing conditions for crops like sugar beets that dominates up in the Red River Valley, as well as all of the other crops. And then this area of the state, the Arrowhead, noted for its lakes, but this is also an important part of our agriculture. That's the forested area of Minnesota that commercial logging is practiced. Perhaps examples of dominant soils that are highly productive for agricultural purposes would be things like the Byron soil here in the southeastern part of the state, the Fargo, which is characteristic of the soils of the Red River Valley, very black, very deep, high organic matter soils, but also typically highly calcareous. And then in this south central area is where we would find the Lester, which is our Minnesota state soil, very deep soil, well drained, highly structured, very productive soil that represents this area.